Good morning and welcome to the Daily Wrap from Pepperstone on Friday the 30th of June. I'm Darren Sinden. Let's take a look at the overnight changes, any price moves that we need to be aware of. And today I've chosen to highlight some weekly moves, starting firstly with the move in euro dollar and the British pound, gains of 2.6% each on the week up until the close on Thursday night. And again, down at the bottom of the table, we can see strong gains by both the Australian dollar and the Swiss franc against the yen. But I think the standout performer, you'll have to agree, is euro yen this week, a gain of 3.4%. And really those dull days that we saw a fortnight ago, or over the last fortnight I should say, on the foreign exchanges seem to be a bit of a distant memory now, which is good news for all of us traders. Moving on to the calendar. What's on the calendar today? Are there any events that we need to keep abreast of or that may move the market? And indeed there are. There's no high impact data today, but there's plenty of medium impact stuff to get our teeth into. I've highlighted a few of those items. First of all, GDP data, year on year and quarter on quarter data from the UK, obviously very relevant given the market's fixation with the possibility of interest rate rises at the moment. We've got inflation data later coming out of Europe. That's around 9 o'clock GMT or 10 London time. And then into the afternoon, plenty of personal spending and consumption data from the US. That's out 1:30 London time, 12:30 GMT. Canadian GDP also for April, and that's around, again at 1:30. And then a bit later on in the afternoon, 2:45 London time, we'll have the ever impressive or always worth watching Chicago Purchasing Managers Index. So that's the calendar for you. Let's take a look now at breaking news or comment that's caught my eye. So the first headline, cable or British pound US dollar trades above 130, so that's the second new handle in 2 days as markets to continue to perceive that the Bank of England will hike rates, or those rates at least are in the pipeline. Meanwhile, in America, US equities sold off last night, and I think this is quite relevant. The Nasdaq 100 finished down 1.44%. Versus a much smaller loss of just 0.78% for the narrower Dow. So technology stocks certainly in the vanguard of those weaker moves in US equities. Japanese consumer inflation edged up to 0.4% in May, registering a fifth straight gain. But to balance that, industrial production contracted, and bizarrely, unemployment rose to 3.1% there. Okay, so the question then must be, is inflation turning a corner in Japan? And here we can see a plot of core inflation in Japan in blue against the broader inflation rate month on month changing the dotted line. And whilst we can see that uptrend in core inflation, we find that the broader inflation measure is actually trending downwards here. So there's still a disconnect, and I think the main driver for inflation in Japan will be oil prices moving forward. Okay, having said that, let's leave you with something else to take away into the trading weekend. And think about this. The FT's flagged the significant changes seen in government bond yields this week, 10-year government bond yields in particular. And this is another signal that markets now favour rate rises. The question I'd like to pose is this: will we see them? Or in fact, are central banks just talking a good game? And perhaps that's one to take away with you into the weekend. Please take a moment to read the risk warning and disclosure here. Leverage trading in foreign exchange and CFDs can be an extremely risky business, and if you're in any doubt about the risks involved, then please do contact your Pepperstone account manager. Just remains for me to say thank you, have a great weekend, and we look forward to talking to you on Monday.